Welcome to the Hoof and Fang podcast. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Maz Maddox.
How the hell are you doing?
I'm going. It's been a long week.
You're going.
And it's Tuesday. So
no, I was going to say, you can't keep saying that every week.
It's every week, right? I think it's going to be that for the next, well, we're about to go on break, but I was going to say that's going to be my answer for the next 2 weeks probably until things kind of calm down at work. But yeah, it's kind of crappy right now, but I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it's going to be a little bit worse before it gets better. Just a lot of stuff going on.
Then I'm glad we're taking a break.
Yeah. I think it's going to be kind of nice because I feel like I'm going to get home on Tuesdays and just torpedo into my bed and not want to do anything.
That's okay too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. But how are you?
Doing well. We spent a weekend up in Door County again this weekend.
Ooh, fun.
with a different set of friends. So, it's one of those things where it's yay, we got to see people, but also, you know how being around people drains the fuck out of me.
Right.
So I was okay, that was nice. But then yesterday I was just a zombie all day because I'm too much socializing. It was too much social and I am zonked out.
Yeah.
Today has been much better. I felt back to my normal self, but yesterday was sort of a wash because I just felt bleh all day long. But
yeah, that's fair.
It happens. And I need to remember to give myself time, even if it's just a couple days. If it's with a group of people, you're going to need a day to recover. So schedule it that way.
Yeah,
but
that's fair. I never, when I'm planning events and stuff like that, I never think of the recovery day afterwards, especially if I'm booking flights. And for conventions, I was really bad at this because I give people a pretty good amount, or at least I used to be able to. Now I think I'm out of practice, but I always forget at the tail end of a convention, I'm done. I'm tapped.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything. And I usually go immediately back to work because past me never takes into consideration the downtime I need to recharge.
Right.
One of these days we'll remember.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I mean, as we get older, hopefully these lessons start to sink in.
Yeah.
But part of it is it's just also economic. I can't add a day of vacation to every trip we take.
Yeah.
Just
that's
because, but at the same time, maybe I can't afford not to.
Yeah. It's
I really was counting on yesterday to be a productive day and it really wasn't.
Yeah.
So what's the difference?
Right. You may as well get that recovery time in and then hopefully make your week last a little bit longer after resting.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the joys of being an antisocial 40-year-old.
Can relate.
Yeah. Anything fun happening in Mazland?
Yes. So I was able to finally get the last pieces of the puzzle for actually opening my storefront again. So one, I had a box that went missing and I was devastated because I thought I was just going to eat the cost of 20 some odd books. And that's a lot, especially because I had them printed from Ingram and it's just pricey. So, but I got them recovered. They made it. Everybody's good.
Woohoo.
And I was able to turn around and get I'm just terrible at remembering stuff. So forgot I needed to apply for a different sales tax license because I moved states.
Sure. Right.
Obvious, but I just forgot. So I was setting up my storefront and was hey, you need this to be able to collect taxes. And I was oh yeah. So I had to apply for that. And the thing said it was going to take a couple weeks. And I was oh, that sucks. I'm going to have to push out the date. I finally get my books, but then I forgot the license. I got the license yesterday. So awesome.
Woo-hoo. Okay, good.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to open up my storefront the weekend after 4th of July. So I guess maybe not this coming up weekend, but the weekend after.
Right.
I'll open the doors and actually start being able to take orders and probably open it up on a Friday so I can be home for shipment, shipping stuff. But super excited that I get to open that up again and start selling some books.
And that will include the new cover relics.
Yeah, the new cover books are the ones that got lost for a while. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I can't open it without those. Like those are the
Yeah.
big things I wanted to like start selling. So super excited. And I got my whiteboard hung up, which I'm pointed at it, but you can't see it. So I have my weekly
Who did
schedule.
that for you? I wasn't
Alex,
there.
he surprised me because I've been trying to do it myself, and I'm, not good with power tools and such. So it's been one of those things I've been meaning to do since we moved in, but I keep looking at it and being like, just not doing it. So I came home on one of the days I had a like really long day, and he had hung it up for me. So
Awesome.
Yeah, so I've got my daily schedule plotted out with all my sticky notes on like when I'm doing what things. I have my writing schedule for what I'm working on currently, and then 2 future projects I'm working on. And then I've got a whole section that's just labeled plot bunnies. And so now I've got our evil tech support written down on it. Like now, like anytime that we have our fun little like, TM, I can just run over and write it down real fast.
There you go.
Yeah. So, and it's done
That's
wonders for my like creativity boost, because now I'm like, okay, I have a plan now, which it's so silly that was one of those little ingredients I guess I needed to be like, oh yeah, I'm an author. Like I should plan out my releases for the year and stuff. So,
well, but if you're more of a visual organizer, having it in front of you must help.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I just needed to literally have it in front of my face and write it out and plan it out and make something that made sense. So my goal for the year is I want to get out at least one origin novel, and then everything after that is like bonus. So origin novel, yay. And then I've got some short stories I want to do for the Patreon and stuff like that. So I've got everything planned. Now I just got to execute it. But I did start the draft for not Ruben Zhang. I actually paused that one because I think I'm going to reorganize which books I release first in Origin series. So
isn't this the second reorganization?
Yes.
Didn't we already reorganize?
Okay, I did. Right. I think this is like the third time I'm like, okay, you know what? We're going to redo it, because I'm just, I don't know, having a hard time with my creativity right now. So I was like, okay, if it's not jiving, we're going to do something else. And I think this has been great. So I put a pin in that one. I'm going to come back to it. But I started on a different thing that's flowing a little bit better. So fingers crossed, I don't come back after our break and be like, hey, guess what? Fucking not doing that. So we'll see.
Well,
who knows?
Let's just anticipate nothing. Yeah. Let's anticipate nothing.
Exactly.
Because who knows what'll happen.
Exactly. Just be cool, man. My brain's
just
going
through some stuff. Just be cool, everybody.
Just be cool.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on in my world.
Cool.
Writing wise.
Yeah. Awesome.
So what are we talking about today?
Before we get to that, I do just want to do the housekeeping.
Yes.
So for folks who are following us on Patreon, we are releasing our Animorphs reactions. Unclear if we might take a week off for those. We might need to take a week off just because of logistics, but they'll continue more frequently than we will on the podcast. And then just a reminder that after this episode, we're taking a couple weeks off. We'll be back at the end of July. But we just need a little time to ourselves. It's our summer break. Everybody be cool. But that being said, speaking of dinosaurs, speaking of summer and summer blockbusters, if you are listening to this podcast on the day it comes out, Friday, July 4th, happy 4th of July, if you're in the good old United States of America. Jurassic World Rebirth has been out for 2 days already. It came out Wednesday, so they could take advantage of the long holiday weekend and try to raise their opening weekend numbers. And sometimes on this podcast, we like to talk about dinosaurs. So I thought,
sometimes
let's lean in and talk about the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchise.
Yes.
What are our takes? And before folks expect to hear our thoughts on the new movie, just know that we are recording this before it has come out. So even if we were the types of people to go to a movie on a weeknight and see a brand new summer blockbuster on the day it comes out, we are not those people. Nope. But even if we were, we're not doing that because it hasn't come out yet. But I will say I did look up the reviews, and the subtitle of the New York Times review was, "With its 7th entry, the popular dinosaur franchise is starting to show signs of wear." And my reaction was, starting?
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I'm like, what do you mean starting? It's been worn for some time.
Yeah, she already been done, had been worn, you know? Yeah. So what is your relationship to the very first movie came out 32 years ago.
Yeah. So
in 93.
Yeah, dude. So it will surprise no one that this movie was very important to me as a kid.
Was it somewhat formative? I can't imagine why.
Yes. I even wore my Jurassic Park earrings for this, my little amber mosquitoes. But yeah, no, this movie kicked off my entire personality as a child. I was 7 years old. And it came out in June, so this is close to my birthday, so it's definitely riding the high of that. I remember I assumed dinosaurs were already on my radar at 7, but this changed me fundamentally. Yeah. And I remember my dad saying that he thought he made a mistake because, like, the scene everybody knows was like the T-Rex shows up and it's this terrifying scene with a lot of tension and it's like looking into the car windows and stuff.
Yes,
he looked over at me and was like, "Oh crap." Like, she's got to be scared. And apparently I was just like, oh my God, like just so into it. Yeah. So he didn't have to take me out of the movie theater. But yeah, he took me to the movie theater to see this. So the little 7-year-old me with larger than life screen and a T-Rex face in my face. It was just the coolest thing I had ever seen. And of course that kicked off my lifelong obsession with dinosaurs. So yeah, it's Jurassic Park's fault that Relic even exists.
Yeah, it's interesting to think back to that time when our parents, like, they didn't have mommy and daddy blogs. There weren't like 1,000 reviews. It was like what you read in the newspaper. And there were, it was like, oh, there's a movie about dinosaurs coming out, but Steven Spielberg's involved. Like, perfect. So, exactly. I'll bring my kid. And then it's like, oh damn, oh shit.
Yeah,
like
that
this
thing
shit
just
is
ate a goat.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What about for you? Did you see it in theaters?
I don't think I saw it in theaters. I can't imagine, because we didn't go to the movies a lot when I was a kid, and if we did, it was usually like a Disney situation.
Oh, okay.
But I do remember that the first time I watched the movie, just having this unbelievable sense of awe and wonder at those opening sequences when they first see the dinosaurs. Yeah. And then about halfway through, it becomes a horror movie, and I was terrified. I have not then, nor have I since, do I have a good understanding that the thing I'm seeing on screen is not real. Yeah. You clearly at 7 had a better grasp on the thing I'm seeing on screen is not real. I was like, well, great. Now I have to be afraid of dinosaurs coming back to life. Fantastic. Scared the shit out of me. The scene in the kitchen where the velociraptors are hunting the kids.
Yeah.
Shoot me now. I don't want to live in that world. If this is what science is doing, I am anti-science. Just stop all of this. So it really freaked me out. And I don't think I watched the movie again until I was like much older.
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. Able to once again appreciate just like how advanced it was for its time, how beautiful of a movie it is, how well written it is. The suspense is wonderful. Like, the tension is great. Do they still make some silly decisions? Oh, sure they do.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's really great. And the cast is amazing.
Yeah.
It's an awesome cast. Like, truly iconic.
Yeah, that movie was a powerhouse for its time, and they made so many good decisions when it came to that. Like the casting, beautiful, and the source material, phenomenal, right? Like the book itself is wonderful. But they really, I think, drove this into it being not just another monster movie with two key factors. They brought in Phil Tippett, who is renowned for his visual effects, and they brought in Jack Horner, who is a paleontologist, like a world famous paleontologist. And he was a consultant on the dinosaur design. So he was the one that said, their T-Rex wouldn't be a big lumbering lizard. It would be like a hunter. He's the one that gave them the idea of it being like it can't see unless it moves around, because they were trying to find like a cool angle for like how this thing would move. It's not accurate. There's nothing to base like that on any truth. But as a paleontologist, he's like, hey, this could be a thing. I don't know. But he's also the ones that, really was like, they would move like birds, and this is the evidence for it. So he made it, instead of it being like this creepy monster movie, where it's like, these are real animals. This is how these animals would possibly behave if they got loose in a park and they were able to get yummy humans. So I think because they leaned into more realism, and they also had a world-class, like, visual effects person on their team, it made these these dinosaurs kind of ageless. Because if you go back and watch it now, this movie is 32 years old. It still looks beautiful. It's like the animatronics are amazing. The computer effects, a little dated now. Like when the brachiosaurs are first on screen, they're not great. And you also see them like walking out of the water, and that's kind of ridiculous. But there's so much of the physical stuff in that movie is just always going to be phenomenal. Like they did a great job making it to where you could watch it now and still be like mesmerized and hypnotized by it.
And scared shitless.
If you are a poor kid being like, I just wanted to see the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you kept up with the franchise throughout the years? Have you seen all the sequels?
Yes. Okay. I've seen all.
Because there were 3 sequels or 2 sequels to the first movie.
I think there were 3. So there was like, if I'm not crazy.
There was a trilogy, or was it a quadrilogy?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a trilogy.
Okay,
and then they had the Lost.
2 sequels to the first one, and then they switched, and then Jurassic World came back later in life, and there were 3 of those, and now there's yet another one. Because that would make 7 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Let me see if I've got a list.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was Jurassic Park. Okay, Jurassic Park, and then the Lost World Jurassic Park, and then Jurassic Park 3. Okay, and then
Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, just Jurassic Park 3. Then there was Jurassic World, which is the 2015, Fallen Kingdom, Dominion, and Rebirth. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So thoughts as the franchise has continued?
All of them are pretty bad.
Yeah.
I probably one of these days, I don't think Alex would ever be down for it. So I'm going to have to rope in like Jess to do this with me. But I would love to rewatch all of them and like rank them in a certain capacity. But honestly, anything past the first movie is kind of garbage, because the first movie was a discussion on unchecked capitalism and humans meddling in things that are never supposed to, and the wonders of wildlife blooming out of something like that. And then the rest of them are just shameless cash grabs and monster movies. Kind of. Yeah. So all of them are just pretty bad. Like they do wacky stuff with the dinosaurs, especially further down the line, like Jurassic World, introducing the Indominus Rex. You want to piss me off further is like try to reinvent dinosaurs. Are you serious? They're already cool. We don't need to do wacky DNA stuff with them. Like you're just, what are you doing? Like literally any other animal, if it was a movie about like, we took hamsters and made them into killing machines, I'd be like, that's amazing. But like with dinosaurs, I'm like, no, they're already so misunderstood and we don't know that much about them. And now you're taking a cool concept, like we brought dinosaurs back to life and then now they have extra arms and goofy stuff. Like, stop. So, yeah.
Well, and also the whole conceit of that movie is they're like, what would really get more people to come see dinosaurs? If we made it more dangerous to come see dinosaurs. Like, we're going to make the most advanced, smartest, stealthiest, killingest dinosaur that has ever existed. So people come to the park to see it. Bitch.
Yeah, right?
No.
Why didn't they go the other direction and go with like super cute little cuddly dinosaurs?
Yes.
Give me a break, right? Like I would be sprinting to that park if they made like teacup T-Rexes or something. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
But
no. They went the stupid direction.
The stupid direction. Exactly.
The stupid direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I have to say, even like the 2 sequels to the original were clearly not of the same caliber.
No.
And then when they rebooted the franchise, it was just like, well, this is clearly just an action thriller now. Instead of like a really thoughtful contemplation of like when science goes too far and like the limits of our own intellect versus what nature will do.
Right.
Like, and like how much we can actually control. And this was just about like a bunch of really stupid people making stupid decisions and then falling in love while a bunch of people are getting eaten around them.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Nothing sets the mood like people being eviscerated by dinosaurs. Like, Who hurt you? Like, that's just
In
so weird.
In that movie, Jurassic World, they have their first kiss while people are being lifted into the sky by tyrannosaurs. Is that the right thing to say?
Oh, the pterodactyl. The pterodactyls, the pterodons. That, flew in and were like literally snatching people.
They're
just, like,
literally murdering people. And they're like, I don't know what it is about this, but I'm going to kiss you. I'm shooting my shot. And it's like, Jesus, fuck. So bad. So bad. So yeah, things I do look forward to in this sequel are Jonathan Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan Bailey.
Yes.
And Jonathan Bailey's slutty little glasses, which the internet just loves his slutty little glasses.
It's so good.
So, and also, in fairness, I am also looking forward to Jonathan Bailey. So,
yeah, I think our lists are the same, but I also have Scarlett Johansson in my list. So, and like, according to some of the reviews that I saw, there are a couple people. It's garbage. It's going to be a garbage movie. Let's not try to pretend like it's not going to be. But apparently, they do go back into it, focusing more on the dinosaurs instead of weird park agendas and stuff like that. So the dinosaurs are more front and center. But I already know, because I work adjacent to a toy department, that there's a new dinosaur that looks horrible. Like, it's another weird, either evolution going too far or meddling in DNA or something, but it looks dumb. So I expect it's more just schlocky nonsense.
Right. But why do we keep coming back if the movies have been this bad?
I think I hold out hope that one of them will have raptors with feathers. They did the Pyroraptor in the last movie, or maybe the first. I think it was the last one. The cool Pyroraptor had feathers, but it also dove underwater under a bunch of ice and like swam around. And I was like, you had me and you lost me. How do you, in one scene, get me so excited and then go, what the fuck was that? It's just so stupid.
That was pretty fucking cool, though. That was pretty fucking cool.
But I think I'm frustrated because I want to turn off the like snotty dinosaur enthusiast in me and just enjoy it being nonsense, but I can't. So it's just me being like huffy with my arms crossed, being like, they would swim in the water. I can't turn that off. But I love seeing the cool effects. The amount of money that they pour into the visual effects in these monster movies, we'll go with that. Who are dinosaurs? It looks stunning. It looks really cool, even if the BBC Walking the Dinosaurs looks way better as far as like scientific accuracy. I still have nostalgia for their version of the T-Rex. Like, it makes me happy to see it, and it's Rawr and everything. It definitely hits where it needs to, but it's not right. So I think that's what keeps pulling me back in, is the nostalgia of it.
So if you're unaware of the inaccuracies or can set them aside, they're kind of fun summer. I mean, it's a movie you eat popcorn watching.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
Any of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you can go into it not being a brat, it's probably a good time. I just have a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're an enthusiast, and we've already talked a little bit about just like how inaccurate they can be sometimes. But like overall, how is the accuracy of the representation of dinosaurs? And especially like, have the movies evolved with the times? Like, the more we think we understand, have they made adjustments to be like, actually it probably would have been more like this?
I mean, kind of. Credit where credit's due. Like I talked about the first movie, they were the first ones to be like, hey, dinosaurs are birds. So they would move like birds and behave like birds and really set the bar. And I think from there on out, they didn't really move the needle very much because I don't think they really had to. Like, they weren't pulling Jack Horner in to consult anymore. Like, I think he's around. Like, I think he's in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, with the 2015 one. He's on the raptor pit. Like, he's just hanging out. So I think he probably was like lightly consulting, but he's really not giving them pointers at this point anymore.
Yeah.
But they're never going to give the raptors feathers because people think it's lame, so they're going to go with what looks cooler or what people are familiar with. Like, at this point, them turning the velociraptors, which are not actually velociraptors, they're more like Utah raptors, if we're going to get in the weeds about it. Like, they're never going to walk any of those key things back, but I think they try to make it somewhat accurate, like they did with Sticky Mylock, the dome head dinosaur that runs into things.
Okay.
they're trying to keep up with the science of that. Like, we probably don't think they actually like rammed their heads anymore, but it was the running theory for a long time. So they're running off of like outdated information, but it was information at one point. So I
Sure.
think they take elements that are fun for movies and lean into it. But first and foremost, these are monster movies. They're not trying to be accurate. They're not trying to teach you anything. So I think they pick and choose what's handy and what would be fun to film and not necessarily what is the most up-to-date, information about these animals. So,
well, and I mean, with the information we have available to us, there are more questions than answers.
oh yeah, exactly.
Like what we find is bones.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to extrapolate from that what their musculature might have been and what their skin might have been like and where their internal organs were based on, our understanding of animals now. And like, but it's all made up.
We do our best.
It could be totally wrong.
Oh yeah. And I probably are totally wrong, right? Like there's very few definitive things that we've been able to understand from a fossilized record kind of point of view. So we found a couple things with fossilized soft tissues, but those are literally 1 in a gazillion chance to ever find again, or be able to understand fossilized melanosomes, so we know the coloration of feathers or pigments on skin. But that's so hard to find that we'll probably never really know for most of these animals. So the ones that we do find that have that concrete evidence, I mean, we can use that to better our guesses, but until we figure out how to clone these things, we're probably never going to know. Or if we find one, like we find a few trapped in amber, like those amber fossilized specimens are great windows into, what they possibly could have looked like. But even then, they're still dead animals and a sap. Like we can only do so much with that. So yeah, we're never going to really know. So considering that we're able to even know this much is amazing.
Yeah. So what you're saying is it's possible for a T-Rex to have big floppy elephant ears.
Possibly. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, unless we can find a well-preserved T-Rex head, which everyone we have not done, I think there's 2 specimens, Sue and Steve, I think is his name, that have like mostly complete skeletons. We really haven't found like a 100% preserved T-Rex. We've kind of had to piece it together from a bunch of different specimens. So until we can find one that has skin or like more skin impressions or like any type of soft tissue attached to it, we could be fundamentally wrong about most of this animal. Like there's still a debate on whether or not the damn thing had lips. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Sure. Yeah. That's wild. So do you think the science will ever be available to us that we could clone a dinosaur?
I mean, I would love for that to be a thing, but there's actually a fantastic book about it written by Jack Horner called How to Build a Dinosaur, talking about how the things that we would need to be able to clone that kind of something that's been extinct that long just is not available to us in the fossil record because it's just so everything's decayed and gone. Like I think you can fossilize like, oh my gosh, not DNA, but like the structure around it basically. So you can pull some soft tissue from fossilized bones within like the marrow and stuff, but we can't do anything with it because the building blocks of life within that are so far gone at this. They're just not going to happen. So the closest we can do is backwards engineer living relatives. So that's when you get like chickens, you can actually go into their genes and play with the genetic switches of letting them regrow teeth because they still have that in their DNA from way, way, way back when, or growing tails.
Weird.
And it's so fascinating. It's so cool. After reading that book, it got me into a deep love for genetic science and bioengineering and the CRISPR thing. Like it's deeply fascinating. So everything that is alive today has genetic coding from where we came from. And you literally just go in and mess around with switches and you can unlock those things. So if you take a baby chicken and just hit some buttons, you could basically get a tiny little dinosaur. It's not going to have scales, but it'll have teeth and a crazy ass tail. And that's wild.
That's wild.
Yeah. So that's, I think, the closest we're going to be able to get for now. But I mean, science changes constantly. So who knows? Maybe somebody could figure out how to reconstruct very ancient DNA from things that shouldn't have it anymore. Or we find that like unicorn specimen in amber that still has blood or something nuts. So maybe.
Never say never.
Never
as
say never.
unlikely as it is.
Right.
Well, and I mean, again, unlikely now. And like you said, like science evolves at such a rate that you never fucking know.
Yeah.
You never fucking know. Like maybe we'll be able to just create DNA wholesale at some point and just be like, well, this is sort of what we envision it to look like. And we've made that.
Yeah. I mean, why not? That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So are there representations of dinosaurs in media that you like as much or more than the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World franchises?
I mean, I definitely the BBC one, the one that's on Apple TV is top tier because it actually is informative and educational and backed with what we understand of dinosaurs currently in 2025.
Sure.
That one, gold star, no notes, love it. But I'm trying to think. I got really into, this is not realistic. I really got into Primal just because it has a T-Rex and cavemen and stuff. And usually I hate that, but it was cool and I like it and I don't care.
Yeah,
I think what else? Oh, there's a video game called Ark that's really good. It's not my cup of tea because it's an open world, like competitive kind of situation. And I don't like playing with other people online, but they have great dinosaurs. Like these are nerdy people who made this game who really do like dinosaurs. So their dinosaur designs are really good. Like they're accurate-ish. They kind of lean a little bit more fantastical because it is a video game and it's kind of ridiculous. But for the most part, I like them a lot. So if you like video games, go play that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. John likes dinosaurs way more than I do, but I watched some of that BBC show with him. I got to be honest, at one point it got too real for me because they were like a little like Triceratops, I think it was being hunted by predators. And I was like, nope, I cannot watch this baby dinosaur die. Thank you and goodbye. And I left the series and I did not come back.
I think he makes it. Like, I think with that series, they did a really good job being like, oh no, the baby's in danger, but we know kids watch this, so a lot of them are going to get it. I think there are a couple baby T-Rexes that died, and I got sad about that. But for the most part, it's pretty good.
Not watching it.
Yeah.
The second something that resembles an ancient puppy was in danger, I was like, no, thank you, and goodbye.
Yeah.
Also, their animations of the flying, sometimes I was like, that doesn't.
You didn't like it?
That would not have worked. That's not how physics works. Like,
yeah,
they don't just flap their wings twice and now they're in the sky soaring. Like, no.
Right. Yeah, some of those, like for sure, like the huge, like Quetzalcoatlus, like these big, larger than life, holy shit things that were in the sky. Yeah. Pretty sure they had to get up high and jump. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yes,
they probably couldn't get off the ground.
Getting lift off from the middle of a forest or like off a beach.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know,
but I mean, if a paleontologist is listening to this and we're wrong, please let us know.
Yes. Please reach out. We'd love to do an episode. Yeah. Yes, do email us at hoofandfangpodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us on social media. And we'd love to hear from you guys, the listeners. What's your relationship to dinosaurs? What's your relationship to these movies?
Yeah.
Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are they just good, pure, harmless fun? Are you a dinosaur person like Maz or a neophyte like me who like doesn't really know anything about them and is like, that's fun. That's weird. They're scary. Also, they're scary. Like, where do you fall? Where do you fall? So that's it for this week. We're taking a couple weeks off and we'll be back at the end of July. Hope everybody's having a great summer. Stay cool. Mm-hmm. Stay warm if you're in the southern hemisphere and it's winter.
There you go.
You know?
But, just take care of you.
Take care of you. We'll be back in a couple weeks.
See you then.
Bye.